So here I am, finally headed to the Homesteaders of America Conference. I wanted to go to this for about 4 years. I don't know why I haven't. It's not very far, about an hour and 45 minutes from where I live.
Welcome to Homesteaders of America. Raise your hand if you've been here before. Oh my goodness, lots of you, but lots of you haven't too. Well, welcome. My name is Amy Fuel. I'm the founder of Homesteaders of America. This is our 7th year, which is pretty amazing. It's
Only we hail at the twilight's last gleaming.
So as you enter the conference, they give you a event program, which inside that has a map of where all the vendors are located, where the big barn is located, and the 3 big tents. So it showed you there tent A, tent B, tent C. And right after opening ceremony, I wanted to see Daryl Patton.
Medicinal plants for the past 25 years on Lookout Mountain in southern Appalachian. Daryl is an ND as well as a master herbalist and brings many years of experience to the field, alternative medicine. Daryl has been called a walking encyclopedia of herbal folklore.
So I've just recently got more interested in herbalism and learning what plants can do for you. And so him speaking it really got me pumped up. And I've since bought a few books, but he was really articulate and he was really easy to listen to. I really liked him as a speaker. He even brought some of his own plants that he talked about and then told you what kind of medicinal ways that you could use them. He made jokes, and it was just a lot of fun listening to him speak. After listening to Daryl, we decided to take a little break, and we headed up to the area where all of the food carts were, and they had this amazing coffee food cart, and they just had all the food in this one certain area, which was awesome. And another barbecue. We actually tried all 3 of the barbecue food carts while we were there for 2 days. They had so many vendors here. The first one I stopped at was, of course, fudge, gluten-free fudge. But we went back the next day and actually bought some. But we just kind of walked around for a little bit until the next speaker, looking at some of the vendors. They had some really, really cool stuff. As we walked around for a little bit, I then stopped to check out what was the next speaker that I wanted to make sure that I was at the big tent when they started. So I have been wanting to start a journal, and we came upon this vendor who hand makes leather-bound journals.
What is this?
Is this a deck of cards?
Yeah.
This one, or should I get the big one?
This one's mushrooms.
No, but I like this.
This one's
Oh
pretty
yeah, this one's
cool,
cool
but
too.
what kind of a bird is that?
What kind of a bird is that? What's the bird?
It's a Carolina wren. Look at the voice on it. You know the wrens?
Not
Where do
familiar
you guys
with
come from?
West Virginia.
You'll have them there. They're the loudest bird in the forest, and they're this big. And they're really cheeky. Like I woke up one morning, had the window open all the time, and I woke up and it was sitting there, right there on the sleeping bag, looking at me like that. They're not afraid of anything. Is it into the leather or out of the leather? If it was in?
Is it in?
I don't know. You have to. You feel.
I think
This
it's
is.
right there.
I
it
didn't
looks
know it
like.
was going to be.
Americans hate to commit themselves.
Yeah, because we're always wrong.
Well, wrong is not is the only way to get to right.
I'm gonna say it's burnt.
I'm going to say burnt too.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So, yeah, in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's
an
in, right?
indent.
Yeah, okay.
That's how
I
you
was
would
right.
tell.
But it's really fine though. It almost looks like it's drawn on there. That's
Yeah, it's
good.
really pretty.
Well, she does it with a wood burning tool, and she hand draws them. So it's all freehand. So all of
That's
this
so cool.
comes out of her. She might put an outline, and then she'll do all the da-da-da-da.
Very pretty.
My sister,
And then I saw a seed vendor, so of course, I had to make a stop there. So this is the program, and I'm just showing you just how many vendors were there that day. You will not get bored. There's tons of stuff to look at and see, and the people that are vendors are so sweet, so kind, really nice to talk to. They're ready and willing to tell you about their products. It was more than I expected. So we just came upon this by chance, and it was Daryl Patton giving I don't know what you would call it, like a herbal walk. So we just walked around with him while he pointed out stuff, and by stuff I mean what some might call weeds or trees, and just talked about what, they could do for you.
Here's your fertility tree, and it's called Eastern Red Cedar. Actually, it's not a cedar, it's a juniper. This is an old Creek-Indian remedy, or what do you call it, to promote fertility. And so they would make a tea with this that both the man and the woman both drank during the course of their cycle. Of course, it takes, you got to have a little connubial relations going. And this promoted fertility in whoever was having the fertility problems. And so it got fixed. I have seen this work, and this is one of the herbs I use in some formulas for women who are trying to get pregnant. Not garlic mustard. It's a big, it's a big ground ivy.
Oh, it is.
And there's some little ground ivies down here too.
That's just, it is a big one.
That's a big one.
It's more spicy than it's small.
Oh yeah, it's actually a mint. Now, if you've ever heard of painter's colic or Mad Hatter's disease, the ground ivy is the treatment for that. Mad Hatter's disease came because they made like Abraham Lincoln hats. They were felted. And the felting process used arsenic and lead, and these people would get all those heavy metals in them and go little woo-woo. Painter's colic would be the from making paint with all those metals in them, and they would get colic in the lungs. So you'd take ground ivy, make a hot decoction, hot tea, drink it as hot as you can stand it, and then either you cover up, ideally do a sweat lodge or a sauna, and what it does is it chelates those heavy metals, clumps them together, and then pulls them out of the system through your skin. and it's probably that and cilantro are two of the best chelators out there. And it needs to be used hot because that opens up the pores so that those toxins can come out. That and cilantro.
Oh, related. Triple pick. They're multiplying.
This is plantain.
I was enamored by this guy. It was so much fun. I wish I could take a walk around in the woods with him and just have him tell me everything about everything. He was just so knowledgeable about every single plant that he was talking to us about. And because he was so passionate about it, it was just, I don't know. He got you excited to learn about the different plants and everything. One thing he had said is that we all think of herbs in just tunnel vision way, but everything can be used medicinally, every plant. So we just have to learn about how and what quantities. It was just very interesting. I loved every second of it. I almost took another nature walk just because I thought maybe he was going to talk about other stuff, but we ended up getting too busy and we weren't able to.
My name is Heather. I work at Polyface as a grass stain tour guide. I started at Polyface about a little over 12 years ago as an intern. That program is now called the Stewardship.
So this was Heather Judah, and she was the second speaker that we saw, and she was fantastic. She was, again, very easy to listen to, very fun, had lots of jokes, just made her story of she pursued her dream against all odds. It was fantastic. I was really glad that this is the speaker that I chose to see. There were several speakers that I wanted to see, but, you had to pick and choose which ones. So between each speaker, you have normally around a half an hour to an hour between each one where you can walk around and see the vendors. This was one where he was actually making a knife. So we stood here and watched him for a little bit. Then we made our way to the Styers Homestead booth. And I am a OG subscriber of the Styers. I've been watching them since before they had 500 subscribers. So I was super excited to finally get to meet them at the Homesteaders of America Conference, no less. I was incredibly awkward, and I think I came off as a weirdo, but I was just so excited. My heart was pounding.
Absolutely.
And they were so kind and took a picture with me.
We're sorely lacking in ways to take care of our teeth.
If you all don't know, my profession is I am a dental hygienist. So, of course, when I saw this on the schedule, I was like, oh, I'm really interested in hearing what she has to say. She talked a little bit about bentonite clay, which I'm very curious about. I had a patient that said they were using it to brush their teeth. I actually use it on occasion as a face mask to clean my pores, but I had no idea that you could use it as a toothpaste. So she was the last speaker that we listened to, and again, she was very interesting, had a lot of good information to share. The Homesteaders of America really picked their speakers very well this year, in my opinion.
With the bentonite clay and horsetail, equal amounts, and put a little water with it, make a paste. You want to pack that tooth, pack around it down to the gum line, and leave it on there as long as you can. Leave it in there as best you can. Let it dry if you can. Even if you have to pull your gum out, let it dry. Leave it on there. Your body, your tooth is going to actually absorb those minerals from that clay and from that horsetail. You also want to start taking your horsetail for 10 days, like we just talked about, or your bamboo, if you're going to put it on your own farm. And either one of those, by the way, grow in moist, boggy, swampy areas. I grow it in a pot at the drip line of my barn. It's in a big pot and it's pretty thick, so, and I live in North Carolina, so it'll grow there. It grows here as well. It grows on every continent.
Dickey. This is called Dickey Ridge Trail. Oh, God.
Dickey Ridge?
Dickey Ridge Trailhead.